Yeah, we would. It would be very cool for us to be here. You know, one of the things, and so many things have been touched upon here. More business than fun. You know, I'll talk about the fun thing. You know, being centrally located is unbelievable. This place is close to everything, and there's not a world-class, you know, test track or anything like that, really anywhere in the country. But being centrally located, you know, man, that's a huge opportunity. And you know, it's funny because when I look at the track map, you know, I'm like, I can just see. You guys have been to the races or seen the race team. We have got some wicked smart engineers. They're slightly evil. And when I was looking at the track map, you've got so many. That is not Le Mans, but you've got so many critical corners that we have to run through and test. And Le Mans really is the cornerstone of our season. That's the one we want to brag about, especially with, you know, Chevrolet being a global icon and worldwide. Le Mans is we get so much attention, so much is gained, you know, for General Motors, Chevrolet, and of course Corvette when we're over there. But I'm looking at that and I'm like, holy crap, man, that looks like the Porsche corners. And then I go around a little bit further and I'm like, oh my God, that's Tetra Rouge. And you have no idea how cool these corners are to drive. It's sick how good they are. It's you know, tragic that you guys don't get the opportunity. And it's funny because, you know, I was at the board of directors meeting last night. They're talking about the dream, the vision. And I'm just saying, God, I hope this comes through. And I start running through corners that you know, I would like to see. And it's funny because most Americans, when they think of a corner that they'd like to drive through, they think the corkscrew at Laguna Seca, which sucks, to be honest with you. There's nothing, you know, you've done it once, you've done it twice, okay, big deal. But there's nothing athletically challenging, you know, about that corner. And they've made it so safe now that, you know, it's just not what it used to be. The Porsche corners, entering them, man, we're from 6th gear down to 5th. And this is how edgy that is. Some of you might remember, I wrecked a couple of years ago there. I know Doug remembers. So does Dan Binks. And nothing worse than wrecking on worldwide TV. And I was like, I could not figure it out. I mean, because it was just the feel of the car losing grip. I didn't know whether I got into some oil. It was a very unnatural skid, and they're like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I wrecked." I didn't know why, but it wasn't until later that I realized that the Audi that I thought was about 8 car lengths behind me as I turned in 5th gear, you know, at about 150 miles an hour, was actually right under me, and so he just took the air off the back of my car, and around I went. I had a great coach early in my career that said, make that corner that is your least favorite your favorite, the one that you look forward to. That then became my favorite corner. And but you know, for you guys to get the opportunity to know what it's like to run through these corners is huge. I mean, we hope so much that this happens. You know, if you there is no other brand, no other car that has the passion that you guys have for Corvette. Okay. But, you know, Ferrari owners are pretty cool about their cars. They're pretty fired up about their cars. And a friend of mine, you know, bought a Ferrari last year and was so unbelievably excited because Ferrari invited him to go to Fiorano, which is their own private test track. And he's like, Johnny, you know what? I know I can get you to go with me and you can show me how to drive it. I'm like, yeah, cool. That'd be fun to drive Fiorano. Well, this, you know, when it gets built, is going to be the same deal. I mean, there will be so much pride and enjoyment for all of you guys to drive around this track that, you know, was designed, you know, by the madmen at Corvette Engineering having a say in it. It'll be so unbelievably special. And it's funny because their Corvette owners are interesting. I actually did a driving school a couple of years ago. The Johnny O'Connell Corvette camp. Maybe I'll do it again someday. Maybe here. But I've had it in my mind since I first came here, you know, as a racing driver for Corvette in 2001, and I realized that there are polishers and there are drivers. Now I love polishing sweetness. Okay, I mean, I like my car looking pretty, but if you see one out there with a McDonald's bag and fries all over the place, it's probably mine. But you know what? These cars so need to be driven. I mean, if you're just polishing it, you aren't getting it, man, because they are so good. They are so well behaved. I remember when they did the C5 launch. You know, I did a deal at Homestead with Dave Hill, and so I was one of the first guys that, you know, with new car introductions, I got to drive the car and was blown away. I mean, just the feel, how well behaved it is. You know, and I drive fast on the street, I won't lie to you. But, you know, to have the opportunity in a safe environment to really see what your Corvette is capable of, you know, is a huge deal, where you don't get speeding tickets. But, so, you know, I mean, I'm hoping very much that this happens. The race team, you know, if we've got corners like Le Mans, you know, corners like the Porsche Curves, Tetra Rouge, I'm guessing when you look at some of those chicanes, if I know the madmen at Pratt & Miller, the geometry would just be like the chicanes we run into at Le Mans. They're sneaky that way. But I can guarantee you that we would be running down here a lot. And one of the coolest things that we do as a race team, you guys just see us when we are at the racetrack. Okay? That's flash, that's fun. You know, we've got our gunfighter face on and we've got a job to do. Our real work is really done in testing, when we are just pounding miles. The hardest, you know, and as drivers, we love that, okay? Because that's where you're going to be in the car for 2.5, 3 hours, you know, and you're like, you know, dying to take a leak, and, you know, your body's hurting, and the engineer's like, okay, like, just 10 more laps, dude. And, but that's where we get all the data, you know, that makes the race cars better. You know, you build something like this, and then, you know what? I know that they'd want, you know, normally if we're testing in Rhode Island, I got to call Doug and say, hey, is it cool if I have some friends out? And he says no. And so, you know, but then, you know, I mean, you know, for a couple miles around, you can always hear the Corvettes, so people start showing up and, you know, stopwatches and all that crap. But this would be an opportunity, you know, for all the, you know, Corvette, you know, members, lovers, people that are passionate about it, you know, to get up close and see what are we really doing. You know, and I've always envisioned, you know, and I still love this idea of doing a ride car, where we have a race car, but we also, rather than having all the computer stuff right here, just, you know, leave space so that somebody, you know, myself or one of the other, you know, 5 guys could take you guys for a ride, so that you can see, okay, what is this beast really about? Okay, it'd surprise you. And so, anyway, you know, I just, you know, we're really excited about it, you know, somewhat in a selfish way, but also in a sharing way, so that, you know, all of you can truly experience, you know, what amazing hot rods you guys have. So, that's it.